Hello and welcome to a Top TurnBuckle special interview with the one, the only Kelly Sixx.
Hello there.
Hello, good to see you guys. Glad we finally got this one actually managing to take place.
Absolutely,
Yes, we do apologise.
massively. But we thank you so much for your patience and actually being able to sit down and have a chat with you. It's going to be great.
Yeah, it's good. I'm looking forward to it.
Fantastic.
Awesome. We're basically going to start at the beginning. How did a younger version of yourself realise this is what I want to do? This is how it all was encapsulated for you.
How I decided it's something I want to do, I don't know. I've never actually been asked that question in that way before. So I think it was just the only thing I was ever interested in. My parents used to get me to go to like rugby and to football and to gymnastics and all these things, and never really sat with me. It was never something I wanted to do. I very much would sit in my room as a kid and like play action figures and stuff, and that was it. I like creating that world, which I guess translates into this. So eventually when I just found wrestling, I just found it was something I really enjoyed doing, and then made a bunch of friendships through it, and they're the friendships that have persisted throughout my life, whereas others haven't, and just it naturally fell into place. It hasn't really taken a lot of effort to want to do it. So,
Were you a fan before, Kelly?
I was a fan quite late in life. So my first WrestleMania was WrestleMania 20. And so, that was like a while back after everyone else, but then because it was just never really discussed in school. And then, from that point onwards, that was it. Just never stopped watching. Continue to watch forever.
Yeah.
So you've got to pick up on that as you said, like wrestling was never really talked about at school, and I think even from mine and James's age, it was always kind of a bit of a non-cool thing to be into at a younger age.
Yeah.
There was, especially from our sort of age group. I mean, we're in our 40s now. It was really like a stigma to like wrestling.
Oh yeah.
It really was. Like if someone found out, like in the like cool kids or whatever, you know what I mean? Like then you always got that like stigma to it. I don't know if it's just that way in Britain or.
I think it's everywhere, isn't it? But it's not so much the case anymore. Obviously, you still get like pockets of people that have the same sort of feelings about it, but it's usually people that just haven't been to it. I think you could take anyone to even an average live wrestling show, and they'll fall in love with it. Then it's one of those things that you see on TV, and it needs to be of an exceptional level to get people hooked. Whereas, like you go see it live, it can be average, and it's still incredible, and that will hook people in.
Atmosphere and the community as well with the smaller shows, which we went to NFW. We've been going to NFW quite a lot. I don't know if you're familiar with that, Kelly.
I recognise the name. They've got a green logo, am I right? Or have I just made that up?
It's got a blue, orangey.
Who runs that one?
I might be thinking of a different one then. Yeah.
But the community within that, where everyone goes and they're all up on the storylines when you go, and as you come in as like new to it, like there's all these storylines going on, you just get engrossed and you actually want to come back to get involved. It's fantastic.
Yeah, good. I think like that's quite a key thing. Is if you have a nice home promotion that like really invests in their people there, and you get to go back and you just follow the stories, you follow the people as they progress. Like that's what properly hooks people into like lifetime fans. So wrestling can be fine as it is. It's just like exhibitions, but I'm of the belief that even places that run once every couple of months can have like that retention of bringing people back if they really put the effort in.
Yeah, I totally agree with that.
Yeah, absolutely fantastic, man. Yeah, totally believe that. So, where was your first experience within actual training?
The first time ever was in the old FWA Academy in Portsmouth. So that was when I was real young. Well, I say real young compared to most people nowadays. Probably a late starter at like 13, 14, I think I went. And so I did that for a little bit. And then they closed their doors and they picked like a select few people that could keep coming back, like your Mark Haskins and stuff like that, like the people that were of another level. And then after that, trained with one of the trainers from there called Justin Richards, trained with him up in Essex. So I used to make that trip every week. yeah, and then eventually I've just gone to different places. Probably spent most of my time at the Rev Pro school now. Been going there since pretty much when it opened. So yeah, that's pretty much my home base.
Brilliant. Did
Wow.
did you have any inspirations, like people you say back to like WrestleMania 20 when you got involved in, or when you first started becoming a fan? Was there anyone that you watch and aspired to be like in the ring at all? Like,
I don't know if there's anyone I really wanted to copy. Big John Cena fan as a teenager. Yeah, I had one of my birthday cakes was made. My family made like a little wrestling ring
yeah,
birthday cake, and I used to call myself Josh Cena back in the day. Was my
Nice.
yeah, that was the old one. So but yeah, so that was it. I grew into liking like Shawn Michaels a bit later on in life.
yeah.
I was a big Eddie Guerrero fan. I think Eddie was probably the main like focal point of like SmackDown and stuff around the time I got into it. So yeah, it was real good.
Yeah, I think Eddie was the GOAT for so many different generations now. He's just, just an incredible talent.
I
Yeah,
can
absolutely.
see elements of Eddie Guerrero in your work as a fan. That's
Yeah.
what I thought you were going to
Yeah,
say.
so
That's cool.
Good. I'm glad. Yeah, he's definitely like he's one of those people that if anyone says it's their favorite, it's not even a question. It's like yeah, it makes sense. Like
yeah, yeah.
he's that one.
No, your energy, I can see with Eddie, your energy and your flow. Just as a fan, So yeah, I thought you were going to say him actually. So that's cool. Yeah, excellent.
Yeah, good.
So following on from there, you training wise, coming into your first experience as a performer, obviously an indie show, where did that take place?
Oh God. I definitely saw like an all-star show when I was maybe 15, 16. Wasn't a fan of that, but like it was cool to again see like live wrestling, and it still made me sure that I wanted to do it.
Yeah, yeah.
But I was like, I want to do better than this. Was the thing. And it's obviously no hate on the guys that do it, but I would quite confidently say that they're even people that regularly did the camps like that. Well, it's not a camp, but it's a camp style show where it's like very family friendly, super family
Yeah,
friendly.
yeah.
Like you could put a bit more effort in, boys. And I'm glad that that's not really the case anymore. Everyone's working hard. Doesn't matter what type of show they're on. So yeah, it's definitely developed a lot better as time has gone on.
I think that's spot on.
Yeah.
I think that's
No, I like that. Yeah. Fair play.
I think when you go to shows now, the standards and the effort put in by everyone from top to bottom on the card, no matter how much experience they've got, you do feel that everyone's bringing it, and it's really cool.
Yeah,
The smallest sort of shows still have really good quality stuff. Whereas when I was younger, it was sort of more very slow, carny, pantomime, but really, really massively pantomime, if you know what I mean. More like the sort of world of sport slow stuff.
Yeah, and I think it all comes down to, in my opinion, there's a lot of people, especially from that era, and there's some still that exist today that where it's like they want to be a wrestler more than they want to wrestle. Like you'll ask them, oh, have you watched any wrestling this week? And they'll go, oh, I don't watch wrestling. It's like, fuck you doing here? Can we swear on this? Is that bad?
Oh yeah, yeah, absolutely
Sorry.
fine. Yeah.
Oh, I try not to too much, but like,
No, honestly, absolutely fine.
Like wrestling is one of those things. You're either all the way in or you're all the way out, in my opinion.
Yeah.
You can stick one foot in if you want, but you'll never be anyone. You'll never achieve like your actual goals. And it's a lot of time to take out of your family and your friends and your life to just be part into something. So if you don't like wrestling, piss off. That's my opinion, anyway.
Yes.
I agree.
Absolutely love that. Yeah, totally. Yeah.
I agree. I think that kind of comes into. I think we should move on to that actually. I get that feeling of that 2025 or nothing in that statement you just made.
Yeah, maybe a little bit. It was in the back of my head as I said it, but I think I had this conversation with someone a little while back as well about the whole concept, and I don't want it to be perceived as being 1 foot in, 1 foot out. It's very much a case of like, here's the goal that I've had for ages, for whatever reason over the years, whether I've gone off and focused on other things in my life, spent like time seeing other people and things like this, and where like focus in different areas. I've never given it that full 100. Like if I give it 100% in like training and my work, I'm lacking in the gym. If I give it all that time in the gym, I'm lacking at training. It's never quite matched up. And so originally the goal was supposed to be there for like a couple of years back in 2020, but obviously then everything happened with that. And I also got injured at the start of that as well. So I mean, that stopped me being able to do that regardless. And then when we came back, world was a different state. There wasn't the amount of shows to be able to do that. And myself was like, I was not in the shape for it. I was not really in the mindset for it, and I had to get away from where I was, and come back here to sort of realize like where my focus should be. And then so by the time I finally got round to putting the lock on it, 2 Rev Pro anniversaries ago, so not the one they've just done, the one before, I was there and I was like, I want to be here, but I'm far from it. And so I worked throughout the year, and I was constantly doing like shows after shows after shows, getting better and better, coming up with new ideas. And then the last anniversary, I was like, I can be here. I'm physically capable of doing it, but I need to correct my own shortcomings to do that. And at that point, it would have given me, it was something like 460, 480 days until the end of 2025. And I just basically said to myself, like, look, if I'm not going to pull my finger out and do it in 400 plus days, I'm never, ever going to do it. And that's on me. So it's not on anyone else that has to rush and help me out or get me bookings or anything like that. It's like, if I do not have the discipline to do this by the end of 2025, I need to look at not being one of those people, like we just said, that's 1 foot in, 1 foot out. I need to just do it. And so that's why I'm here. So yeah, I never want that to be perceived as a case of I am 1 foot in, 1 foot out now. Like I'm sort of looking to the end of the year, like what am I going to do then? I have not looked past that point. If I get there and I fail and I haven't done it, I can confidently say I gave it everything I had, and then I'll start looking at what I want to do. But at the moment, I am all wrestling.
Yeah.
I have. Oh, sorry, mate.
Well, I'll just go with this. I felt that conviction in one of your little promos that you did. You turned around and there was a difference in the way that you spoke, and it was a simple line, and you just said, "I'm fucking good at this."
Yeah.
No, it was a brilliant line, because from the outside looking in, it was almost like you had discovered that belief.
Do you know what? That's the exact same. That's the exact same thing I was about to bring up, mate. That for me, that was raw, man. Yeah. That was pure, raw, brutally honest.
Just after a match, holding the belt and going, I've realised, it's almost a realisation going, I am fucking good at this, and it was awesome.
This was going out as a like, this is what I want to do. This is what I need to do. I'm not saying this for a sympathy vote. This is exactly what is going to happen from now on. And I have got to applaud you for that, mate. That was absolutely amazing to watch. That was a brilliant promo.
Thank you. It's just one of those things where, like, even after I put it out, I was nervous, because whenever you put anything out, people will have their thoughts and feelings about it. But then I've come to this period in my life, let's call it a year and a half. It's this period I've given myself. I've come to this, and I've just kind of gone, what does it matter what other people think? Because, for example, when I came back from London, moved back to Southampton, I was putting up all these things of me just working out at the gym. Like every day I'd put up a little clip. And I was just not thinking much of it. And then a bunch of people just slowly started like slipping in, going like, it's really inspiring. Like, you've got me going down the gym. I'm taking all your stuff. And I was like, I never thought people cared, because negativity is the only thing that really gets shared. People tell you not to do something rather than to do something. And so then I was like, I'm just going to put this out, because I feel like this is where I am. I've been told many times by some of the best wrestlers in the world, like, that my wrestling, when I'm on point, can be up there with the best. But my main thing, it's no secret, has always been keeping myself in shape and focused on it. I've always struggled with food and things like that. I love the gym. That's never been a problem. I could live in the gym. But I love food to a degree I cannot explain. And it would require me to get both the wrestling and the size thing and be the full finished product to be able to be that good. By that point where I cut that promo, I'd been working this for so long. And like, I have no shame in saying it because I said it to him at the time. Like, I came off in fact, it was, I'm really fucking good at this. I think I said it a few times, but there was one point where it really stuck in my head. I think I'd done that promo where I said I'm really fucking good at this once. And then I went to a show and I didn't have many bookings going on at the time. I would kind of just whittled it down so that I could not just be traveling Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I could be focusing, like, if I haven't got like a show where I'm going to go and develop and learn something from, I'm not going to do it. I'm just going to spend that day in the gym or meal prepping to fix that problem. And so I went to this show and I had this match with someone that just like, and I love him to death as a human being, but like, I had this match and I came out and I was just like, you put no effort in. You literally shat the bed, and I had to carry that through to make it mediocre at best. And so I don't have time for people to be mediocre. I'm really fucking good when I put this effort in. And at that point, by that point, I was. You can look back a year or so and say I wasn't, but like at that point, I was. And I was like, you are also really good. So why are you shit now? Like I won't accept it anymore. And I just started going like, at the end of the day, if I leave in 2025 and I've upset some people on the way out because they've let me down, that's fine. Like I'm one of those people that, this probably doesn't sound it now, but like I'm not massively a social person. I really don't like confrontation. But I got to that point and I'm just like, no, like I will not accept poor performances from people that I believe are really good and have the capacity to be really good. So that came out, and then I had a show the week after, and that was a bit better. But again, the guys I was in there with, and I was just like, I am past carrying people to acceptable level. If I have to carry you to being acceptable, go back to training, sort yourself out, come out, because I am fully capable if my opponents are capable, and you need to put the time and effort in. And since then, I don't know whether like that just picked up a mindset for me or for other people that I wrestled, but then everyone I've wrestled since then has been pulling their finger out and just been cleaning the house, and it's given me the opportunity to wrestle people better than me, and that's the only way you learn. It's like I've spent a lot of time over the years wrestling people that perhaps are less experienced than me, need guidance, and that's fine. I love doing that stuff because then when you see the smile on their face when it comes to the end, that I've had so many people's best matches. They've told me straight up. Promoters have come and told me, their trainers have come and told me that's their best match they've ever had, and I love that probably more than most things. But at some point, I've got to go. It's time to be selfish. I need to wrestle up to people where I struggle so that I can come up. Like I wrestled, for example, Connor Mills, RCWA. I've wrestled him at Rev Pro as well.
Yeah.
And both times, like I've kept up, but it's very clear that like this is a walk in the park for him. And like for me, I'm pulling out all the stops just to hang at his level. But that's what I need to do to get myself to his level.
It's that motivational push for you as well.
Yeah, you've got to have those things where you go out and you're uncomfortable. And the amount of times this year I've said to myself, just before I go out through the curtain, like, do I really like wrestling? Because I'm really, like, the nerves hit me. And the moment I come through the curtain, I'm like, yeah, I do. But it's that nerves that I don't want to let people down. And yeah, but I need those pushes because then each and every time that's happened, I've got better. So yeah, that was probably a massive rant about that. But it was not meant to be an egotistical thing. It was very much came from a place of frustration and a place where I know the people I'm wrestling are better than what they're giving me. So give me as good as I've seen you do for other people, and they have, and life's got great. So
that's fucking awesome, man. I love that. Absolutely love that. That's brilliant. I've actually got a bit of a random factoid to throw out at you as well. Right. So out of the three of us hosts here on the podcast, I'm relatively new to indie shows. And my first indie show was actually Stowmarket Slam 10, I believe it was.
Right.
And I do believe it was your good self and Brad Couture, if memory serves correct, who were the opening bout. And I think during the interval, I went to go and get a drink, and I happened to walk past you, and it stopped you and said, "Mate, that was an amazing opening match. That was so cool." And that's no bullshit. And I still talk about that match now. That was my first indie show, And it was an amazing experience, absolutely amazing experience. And you were so polite.
Oh,
You know,
I said I don't like confrontation, so like the way I was brought up, and I know that like people come from different backgrounds. I lived a very soft childhood and teenage years. Like I've been brought up with like a whole family. Like until recently, none of my grandparents had died. Like everyone's alive, everyone's happy, and it's just. So that's kind of how I've always been, which sometimes makes me a little bit naive and go into situations, but it also means that I go in with the best intentions to every interaction. I worked in customer service for most of like my teenage years and my early 20s. So you learn what it's like to be spoken to like shit, and you go, cool, I would like to be spoken to like a human being. And, I think there should be, where people talk about, national service? There should be a national service being customer service for everyone.
Damn right.
The country would just become polite again.
Yeah. So on that example, I've run pubs, I've worked in kitchens, and worked on doors as well. So it's amazing how people forget just with or without alcohol what human compassion and kindness is actually all about.
Yeah, it's even like a bar.
It's supermarkets that are the worst.
Oh god,
yeah. They were. I worked on the customer service desk in the supermarket for a long time, and I was very polite for a long time, and then I kind of reached the point where I was like, nah, just if you come with the aggression, I'm gonna give you it straight back. Like there was this random old lady that like I feel bad because you obviously, to be at this level, you obviously got something that's not mentally quite right there. But she'd come and she grabbed one of my female colleagues, and I just slapped her hand away. It's like, you don't fucking touch my staff. Like I was like that came out of nowhere. But like that, I'll be polite to a limit. And then the store manager comes along and he's like looking after the old lady. I was like, nah, absolutely not. She just grabbed one of your colleagues, send her out, and he got rid of her. And it was like, there's like that little escalation I'll go to in a situation like that, but 9 times out of 10, if you just are polite, and if people are polite to you, life is great.
Yeah.
I wanted to mention, by the way, I know I've gone on about that Stone Market Slam one. Me and Brett have this. I don't think so Brett is the promoter for World War Wrestling, and he, although he denies it because he's such a nice guy, I very much have this belief that every time I've wrestled for Brett at one of his shows, I have shat the bed. In the same way that we were talking earlier about how when I wrestle good people and they let me down, I was like, every time I come away going, I feel like I've let people down. He'll never tell me it's terrible, but like I know, because I know what it's like when he sees me wrestle good. Like he used to come and do the filming in the ring at Jurassic World. And every time he saw me there, and I'd kill it, and he'd afterwards be going, "Oh, that's incredible! Like best match on the card every time." And then he'd book me. I'd go wrestle one of his shows and just stink it out. And it was like, So we've got another one. I don't know, when's this coming out? Is this like now?
Come out in about a week.
So on the 17th, which is 7 days from now, I'm wrestling for Brett. So it's me and Josh James going up to do the Kings of the South team up there. So we're looking to break that curse and hopefully not stink out the joint. So you're either going to see the worst thing you've ever seen, or the best thing you've ever seen. It's worth coming along either way.
We'll be there, Stu.
Go.
We'll be there.
Yeah, go.
Stuff.
I'm sure that won't happen. But going back to that,
James.
Honestly, man, that was my first experience at an indie show, and it was awesome, absolutely awesome. So,
I'm glad you enjoyed it.
We've been myself, James, and Johnny as well. Now Johnny's back on board with us. We've been to countless indie shows now, and I got the bug big time. Just, don't get me wrong, I love all the big shows, big promotions and whatnot, but the indie shows are just this heart and soul.
Yeah,
it really is.
I enjoy them more.
I
think sometimes it's that unexpected thing as well, where like you see people you've never seen before, and you're like, "Oh, where have you been hiding?" Like,
exactly.
Even if I'm watching, because I always watch most matches on a show, when I'm there and I'll see it, and I'll be like, I know pretty much every wrestler in the country because over the years I've met them or heard about them. And when I turn up, I see someone new and they're good. I'm like I'm taking you with me. Like, we're going to go here, here, and here because you should be everywhere.
Yeah.
Like, it's good.
Like we watched a big guy, didn't we, Stu? Like I think his name was Dave Blackadder, someone like that.
Recognize the
He's
name.
really, really
Yes.
new. Yeah, he's really, really new in an FW, and he
Mm.
was so fucking impressive. Like,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
everything was like you could see was safe, but was really laid in as a big guy, and the noise. That's what people don't get when they don't go to these smaller events. The noise of the bump when they were going in and things like that. He was so impressive, and we were like, that guy is awesome. He just shone throughout it, and
Yeah.
found out like he's in training.
Yeah.
But
Oh,
like,
that's good.
yeah, he was so good in respect of like how he come across in the ring, everything. He was awesome, and some of these guys don't get enough credit. You know, when you look at them, and it's a shame. You know?
Yeah.
It's the one really good thing about that I love doing, love going to these indie shows and love doing these interviews with people like yourselves. Is James is, for all intents and purposes, more the psychology fan of wrestling. He has, I mean, a prime example was when the first ever actual wrestling show I went to was Clash at the Castle in Cardiff. Went with James and Johnny, and through the Gunther versus Sheamus match, all I could hear was James next to me going, "This is great psychology. This is amazing. Watch this. Look at this. Watch this."
Oh,
Which
I stood up and clapped at the point
absolutely, yeah,
where the two of them, which no one else got around where I was standing, but for me it was amazing, is where Gunther and Sheamus were just standing face to face, and everyone else was fighting around them, but they would not lock eyes off each other. And I was like standing applauding, going, "Great psychology." And I think everyone else in Wales was like, "What the fuck is this guy doing? Nothing's happened." But to really set up of the match to have all that chaos and them two just focus on each other, it was art. The way that they did it, it was awesome.
Subsequently, because of going to these shows with James as well, I'm learning that aspect of it. You know, you're not just looking at it as an entertainment purpose. You're looking at it now as a performance, as a form of art, an expressionism of a secondary part of yourself. And it's become such a wonderful experience for us. I'm sure James would agree that it is a wonderful experience for us
I love
as fans.
Yeah, I love Kelly's little shorts at the moment, where they're really there's some really like, some of them are innovative, but other ones are like really simple, where you just stamp on someone's foot and push them down.
Yeah.
Like it's just, it comes across as you're just mega experienced and you're taking your time and letting that sink in, like, and it's awesome. I love those little shorts. I think they're great.
I'm glad. Yeah, I'm trying to get more footage out and about. That's one of the biggest downsides of indie wrestling, is that sometimes you don't get your own footage. So I tend to get someone to film on my phone now, and you have to get the film. All the years we got taught the film landscape, and it's like now we're on reels and things to portrait. But getting those clips allows me to put up things like that, which is good. And at the end of the day, I'm a creator. People have asked people ask wrestlers like, why do you like wrestling? What is it that does for you? And it's always been the creation for me, like the creativity. I sit and I write down ideas all day long. There's going to be more probably shown on this, and there's like a character promo video thing that's coming out in about a week or two. It will shed some light on this, but I cannot stop thinking of wrestling to the detriment of every other part of my life. I get in the bed at night and I have to keep waking up to put an idea on my phone. If I'm in the shower, on the toilet, if I'm driving, if I'm completely locked in, if I'm in a work meeting, all I do is think about wrestling. I cannot switch the brain off. I have to put music on or a video on to stop it. And so that creativity is what gives me the life to do things. So I like to try to come up with things, whether it's a small thing like you mentioned there, or like a completely brand new creative move. I have more things in the bank than most people will ever do in their entire career, just ready and waiting to go. And I'm kind of making that my thing. I put a questionnaire out to some friends that I rate the opinions of, and some fans as well that I also rate the opinions of. And I just said, give me 3 keywords that tell you what I'm about, and also got them to tell me like what their favorite and least favorite versions of me were and stuff. And the general consensus across the whole lot was that the number one keyword was either creativity or innovation. They both came up, and the second one was like agile, smooth. Someone said like the flow state, which I like, quite a nice thing. Right, and it's like, okay, so now I'm very much focusing on those because that's what everyone likes about me. So rather than me trying to do X, Y, Z all over the place, I'm like, this is what they like the most. This is what I like the most. I'm just going to do it.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
Yeah.
And it's awesome as well the fact that you're willing to put it out there too, as you said, close friends and fans as well to voice their opinions, to give you that feedback, and for you to so openly work around it or work with it as well. That's massively impressive, man.
Yeah, it made a big difference because like I've sat and I say I've got all those ideas in my phone, but I've never really run them by people. I just do them on a show, and if they land, they land. If they don't, they don't. And I was like, no, I'm gonna. So basically, in my real life, I became a project manager a little while ago, and I've learned more about actually planning projects out and stuff since then. And so I was like, okay, I'm gonna put together like this general like feedback loop, get everything coming in. Ended up working with some designers, and they work with like mood boards and stuff. So I started doing that for colors and things. And I was just like, just grab all these things in and started sectioning it out, made it almost like a business plan type thing to go, what am I good at? What do I like doing? What do people also like me doing? Because I can't just do what I think is good if it's crap for everyone else.
Yeah.
I really tackled it like it was an actual project. And I think that's made a big difference. And off the back of that, I'm actually going to go be doing that with someone, one of my close friends, Will, tonight. I'm going to go see Will and Molly, and we're going to work on his stuff, where basically we're going to do the same thing. We're going to sit there for like 8 hours and just go through this whole board of what makes him good, what do people think makes him good, like eyes wide open, real focused on it, and do that. So I'm looking forward to that. And I've realised that sometimes you do need to regiment your creative process a little bit. Not too much, but you do need that regimented thing to go, I'm creating a lot, but why?
Yeah.
What does it do?
Yeah.
And that's where we are.
Yeah.
Man,
I do a similar sort of thing because I'm a martial arts instructor, and I have to come up with certain things for my students and things like that. And I'll have to sit sort of like in a lab, similar to like you are with wrestling. I'll have to draw it back sometimes where I'm thinking 100% all the time. So I call it my little lab in the garden. I'll come up with certain things. I'll come up with certain new little tricks that I've come up with. But then I have to think, is this actually going to work?
Yeah.
Understand what I mean? There's that side of you that goes, I really, really like this, but I need to test it. And then I need to go and talk to other people. So I totally get you on that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good.
Totally
Good.
get you. So, what would be contentment for Kelly Sixx after 2025 or nothing?
Well, obviously there's the clear main goals, which are York Hall or the anniversary show. Anniversary show is like the big one, but I have to be realistic to where I started the plan, not being on the shows at all, to being on the anniversary show, which is the biggest shows they do in front of thousands and thousands of people. I had to be realistic and go, I might not hit that, but the only goal I never hit from my original goal board in 2017-18 sort of time, when I was really coming up through the ranks, the only thing I didn't achieve was York Hall. And that was just on there as that was a key point. That was the only one that sat there. It sat there for years. I've never done it. It is a key British staple to do that. So it's either that or, of course, the spectacle would be to do the anniversary. From that point onwards, I obviously weaved in the fact that I want to be a regular member of the roster as well, because I don't want to just come on and do a show and be like, I did it and leave. I want to be there forever. They run They run so many shows now that I've done shows with the promoters themselves have called it like a traveling circus type thing, where it's like a family show that goes around each and every weekend, and they'll sometimes tell little stories and things, and that's cool. But now Rev Pro runs so frequently that they have their own stories combined with the best wrestling in Europe, probably the best independent wrestling in the world. Let's be realistic about it.
Yeah.
They have that every weekend. It's like, I want to be part of that. I know Andy's vision. Me and Andy have sat down a bunch of times and had conversations about stuff where he's told me his visions and where he wants to go and how he's planning things. And I was like, I fully connect with everything he's said, from the style of wrestling he likes to what he wants to do and how he's built it up. I obviously I can't talk too much about like what his overarching goals are, but
No, that's
he
totally
has
understandable.
he has stuff in mind for Rev Pro in the long term that is just well beyond what anyone else is thinking of. And I want to be a solid part of that. I want to, and not just be like sat at the bottom. I want to climb up and be a main part of that. So that's where I want to be. It's between, so it's that. And if we're talking about where I really want to be, it's I would like to jump between there and Japan. I would like to eventually move to Japan at some point, further down the line, if for whatever reason, because I mean, I feel like this country's gone to shit anyway. So and Japan's just full of wonderful people. It's a wonderful like society. I've been there twice now, and I never ever want to leave. Every time I have to, and so I'd like to do both. But if I only had the choice, I would like to be with Rev Pro because I can see it growing and I can see it being a thing that, again, I can go back to being a full-time wrestler like I was back in 2018-19 sort of time, and really be something important, do something important, and bring more people into professional wrestling. Because he's bought these, he bought Southside, and then like runs the same venues they did, which are predominantly families.
Yeah.
And the people that will come into them sometimes are new wrestling fans, and they see this. It's like I want them to come and then decide from that point onwards they're never going to stop coming to wrestling. I want to bring people in as well as appease people that are diehards and have them go, I love wrestling, and this was the best thing I've seen all year. So yeah, Rev Pro's like it is there, and for some people that sounds like a small goal. For like people that are at the top of the top, they're like, like Rev Pro, yeah, but I want to go here and I want to go here. It's like, nah, for me, it's a huge goal. And based on where I understand that it is going, where Andy wants to take it, it would give me everything that I've ever wanted. And so very clearly, that is my goal, to be there and to stay there as long as my body allows me to do it.
That's fantastic. That's fantastic.
Brilliant. Yeah, absolutely brilliant.
Personally.
Yeah, generally I do as well. I mean,
I get that energy off you now.
Yeah, absolutely. How that all came across was just so.
I'm glad. Yeah, well,
honestly, it got me the feels a little bit there.
It's real. That's it. It's like
it is real. Yeah.
I know there's fantastic characters in wrestling that are obviously very far removed from real life that still suck you in. Like
yeah.
But for me, it's always been, I've loved the realism of it. I love fancy voice showman stuff as well. That's great. But when I talk as me, and I like to put stuff in there that treads the line, because I don't want you to come and go, oh, I like the character of Kelly Sixx. Like, I want you to turn up and go, I like Kelly Sixx, full stop. Or don't like him, whatever you want to do. Like, you might just dislike me, but whatever. But it's always going to be the real me, and especially now this is a very real thing, 2025 or nothing. There is the very real possibility that I fail completely, and I get to that point and I do leave, and I've committed that is the thing I'm going to do, is I'm going to go if I fail. And so when I talk, I am talking as me. It's not fake. There's no secret storyline behind the scenes where like Andy's just waiting for the right moment to bring me in. Like, I am proving myself to him and to the roster and to the fans to get that spot. And if I don't get it, I go, but I'm going to get it.
Yeah.
I think you're an inspiration.
Yeah, big time.
I think you're an inspiration. No, I really do, because you have, from the outside looking in, you obviously had a few struggles and things, maybe confidence issue, and all I hear now is like just full commitment, full drive, and I just think you're an inspiration, mate.
Yeah,
thank you.
I really do.
Yeah, genuinely. Hand on heart, mate. I really do believe that you're gonna go and get this done. You're just confidence. How you know everything that you've just said. It's just like, dude, I'm all in.
Thank you.
That's like genuinely, it's hand on heart. Like I said, I really, really do hope all this works for you. I really do.
What's so good about the character now for me is it is Joshua Wall.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like when you're speaking now, this is exactly how want these sort of interviews to go as we keep on going along, because I'm getting the passion of you as a wrestler. Instead of going through, oh, what's your favourite match, all those type of things, what we've got is properly you. And I think you know, you're an inspiration, mate.
Thank you, I appreciate it. Yeah, I've done 1,000 of those interviews at this point. I don't really do many of these anymore because it's usually the same questions.
Yeah.
Like your favourite matches you've had. It's like, nah,
Yeah.
I have stuff going on. Like, let's talk about it. And as you've experienced, when I talk, I don't shut up. So like, there's content there. We don't have to talk about the generic things. Like, you just give me a key word or a key question, and I'll go off and I'll tell you more than you asked.
Yeah.
But but those sort of interviews I find as well, especially even just as, you know, being someone who watches them, they're more engaging. They're far more engaging. If the person who's being interviewed has got so much to say about any topic in, you know, surely that's the best way to be.
Yeah, you. That's the thing, is I think people are scared of ruffling feathers, and you can come on here and you can say dumb things. I've done it. I've come on and said stuff that wasn't in my character as a person to say, just because like I felt like I needed to say something, or like I wouldn't say stuff because it's like, oh, I don't have the right to say that. It's like, fuck that, I'll say whatever now. Like, I've been around long enough. I've done enough that like it does. Like, if I'm gonna lose my opportunities because I came on here and said I want people to step up when they wrestle me and to make like my performances better by making me work to keep up with them. Like, if that upsets someone and they don't want me to achieve my goals, then they just weren't a good human being in the first place. And is it that stupid Tom Hardy quote or whatever? It's Tom Hardy or someone else where it's like, if you've got a problem with me, call me, and if you don't have my number, you don't have like a right to you don't have a right to have a problem with me or something like that.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
I know exactly what you mean.
Yeah.
But yeah, just realize like there are people there that want good stuff for you. I turn up like just a random ones like Michael Oku, for example. You'll think he's probably like one of, if not the biggest independent wrestler in the world, like definitely in this country. And every time I've seen him, he is the nicest human being with nothing but good things to say to me, and he doesn't owe me shit. Like, he could just walk by me and I'd be like just happy to be around him and to learn from him. He is a wonderful, nice human being, and there are people like that all across the country and all across the world, and you just give your time to them. And if people aren't like that, you just let them go by the wayside, and it's fine. So be Michael Oku. That's what everyone should be.
Damn right.
I think we'll finish it there. That's fantastic.
I just wanted to wrap things up by saying thanks so much for this interview. It's genuinely been an absolute delight to sit down and talk with you.
No, thank you very much for having me on. I'm sorry that it took us so long to do it. I think you were apologising earlier, but it was a 50-50 because I'm fairly sure I ended up being ill a couple of times as well. So we're like 6 months down the line here. So we got here, we got it done.
We got there. We finally got there. Got there. And
very best of luck with everything.
Genuinely wish you all the best.
2025 or nothing.
Yeah.
I love your intensity. I think that you'll be a success anyway.
Absolutely.
I think that you are. I think, you know, independently. I think independent wrestlers and what they bring to the table for people like us who go across the country and watch, I think they're stars anyway. I know that you want more and you're ambitious for more, but I do think you'll get there. I think that energy has changed within you. I get that just from that one line. That one line, that's as a fan, watching that little thing. I'm fucking good at this.
Yeah. Well, when I get to the end of it, I'll say it one more time just for you. If I don't, I've got a funny post for if it gets to day 0 and I fail, I have a funny post ready for that, and then you'll never hear from me again. It's really funny or really good, depending on how the year goes.
Right.
It's fantastic to talk to you, Kelly.
Yeah, genuinely, it's been an absolute pleasure, mate. Absolute pleasure.
Appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Thank you.